Hi, we will now show you how to create a purchase order in Greentree. Go to Data Entry, Purchase Orders, and Purchase Order Entry. You will be assigned a default branch depending on your location. Firstly, just a bit of housekeeping around what you see on the screen. Firstly, you will see a Purchase Order tab, a line item tab which is currently greyed out, and delivery details. The main screen that you need to fill out first is the Purchase Order tab. The order number will be located here, however, they are automatically generated, so do not enter anything here. Once you save the PO, a purchase order number will be generated automatically. You will also see an order date and expected date. This will be defaulted to the current date. However, if you do need to change it, you can do so here. You will then see the supply detail and a code, the alpha and the name. To search for a supplier, you can type in the first 3 letters of the supplier. For example, Bunzel, B-U-N. By clicking on the magnifying glass, it will then give you a subset of suppliers that we have in the system, starting with B-U-N. This particular purchase order will use Bunzel as an example. So just double click on the relevant supplier. It will then populate the alpha, the name, and the terms and the contacts that we have set up in the supplier default fields in Greentree. Once you do that, you'll also see now that the status is in draft. There will be a tick on hold, and you'll be seeing who, obviously it's yourself doing the purchase order, and you will see a narration. The narration here is for the overall purchase order. We will be doing in particular narrations for each individual line for each item that you order on this particular order. For a general narration, you may just want to put stationery order or chemicals order, whatever it is that you're particularly ordering from the supplier. And it may just be for a period ending. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see a discount, net and tax and total. This will be your running total for the order and will be populated as we enter each line item. Also down the bottom will be a table version of what you enter per line. So we will now enter the line items. To enter the lines that you wish to order, click on the line item tab. You will see line item number here in the top left hand of the screen. That correlates to the table down below. So you'll see line number 1 there and line number 1 up the top. These details here relate to the total lines that will populate down the bottom as you go through this field. The line type will be general ledger. The tax type should be always exclusive. If it happens to be inclusive, please contact finance as they will need to amend the supplier details in the background, but all suppliers should be exclusive. The tax code will always be set to default GST plus 10%. Under that, you'll have the GL account. The company will always be the Interlife Group Limited, and our account code which will populate, and our data. So basically our quantity order and the unit price for what we order. And we'll be going through this next. Firstly, we'll work out what we are buying. So for example, for this order we are ordering chemicals, and we'll assume we're ordering chemicals for ADE barbecue cleaning crew. So our account code for ADE is split up and it's across the board in the same format. So our first box is our first 2 digits, which corresponds to our program. So for ADE it's 10, for life skills it's 30, for respite it's 35, and for corporate it will be 99. For account numbers, please refer to the chart of accounts on a separate handout, or if you have any issues, please contact finance if you're unsure of the account code to use. For this example, we're buying chemicals for a barbecue cleaning. So our account code is 10 because it's ADE. Our default branch location, which is the center 3 digits, it will default to the branch that is set up for your own personal branch on where you're located. But however, if you are buying for a different office, for example, if Midland is buying instead, not for Midland, but buying for Gosnells or buying for Peel, you will need to change the middle 3 digits to reflect that location. The last 4 digits reflect the natural account. So this basically is telling us what exactly you are buying. So in this example, we're buying chemicals, which is 5106. Once you do that, please click on this magnifying glass. It will then populate the rest of the fields, being the full name of that code and the short code, which is basically reflective of the same number of the natural account there. You'll also see as you populated up the top, it automatically put things in the fields down the bottom relevant to the same fields that you've entered up the top. You can also, instead of entering up the top here, you can directly go in down the bottom to enter, and you will most likely do that as you get more familiar with the system. For ADE codes, there is another field that needs to be entered, particularly when you enter to the 5,000 codes. They do require a crew. So we do assign for ADE work crews. So click on transaction analysis, there you'll see a little tree. Click on that, then double click on work crews and enclaves, and anything that's obviously the reds are no longer in use, but for this we're buying chemicals for the barbecue. So we can just select that, and you'll see that is now changed to barbecues maintenance crew, and we can click OK. And that is now typed in the BBQ short code for that. Please note, if you are buying for life skills do not require any crews. However, you may be buying for client support costs. You do not need a transaction analysis code for that. If you have any issues, again, please ask finance for assistance in your account codes. Next, we'll enter the quantity ordered. So in this instance, we'll use only for the example purposes that we're buying 2 bottles of cleaning chemicals to clean the barbecues. So we'll put in 2 as quantity, and you can use the tab key, and that will take you down to the price. This price here will be the exclusive of GST price for example, if it's $5.50, which includes GST, you will need to enter the $5 only. That is taking the 50 cents GST off the amount. For this example, uses $5, which is the unit price for that item. So that means for one item, it will cost you $5. In this example, we're buying 2 items, so it will be 2 times $5, which gives you a total line total of $10. You'll also see it's got 10% here for the tax, because it does still include tax. On the narration field, you can put more detail in. The narration field will default to what you've entered on your first narration over here for the overall purchase order. However, please change it for the line narration, as you can get more specific in actually what you're buying, because this will go to the supplier and you may want to enter their product number in there along with the supplier's notation that they require for them to fill the order for you. So in this example, we'll assume the product number is 1234 and assuming the chemical name is purely just chemical for example purposes. Once you see that, you'll see that the line item is 10. You'll also see down here that it will show you the running total of the purchase order. So far we've only entered one line. However, once we add more lines, these totals will change down the bottom. You'll also see the net of $10. It's added the 10% GST of $1. So the total of the invoice that we will receive will be $11. To enter the next order line, click Next Order Line. You'll now see as you've done that, it's created a line down the bottom and it says line number 2, and that's highlighted in blue. And that line that's currently highlighted is now reflects the detail up the top here as well. So it's line number 2. Again, the tax type should be exclusive and the tax code is 10%. Again, you can enter, it may be a different general ledger code that you may need to enter. So instead of chemicals, it may be just a consumable, which is a different natural account. Again, being ADE and it's a 5,100 number, we will need to enter in transaction analysis code down the bottom here. We can, for this example purposes, assume that it's for cleaning internal crew. And again, just select that. You'll see that value's changed there and click OK. We will now put the quantity ordered for that. Now we're assuming that we're buying consumables, so we can buy, we'll buy in 5 quantity, and these may be $20 an item. Again, you'll see it's times 5 quantity by the unit price of 20, which gives you the line total of $100. It will add the 10% GST there, and the narration is obviously different because you bought a different item. So change as applicable. And you'll also see before we click the next order line that these running totals have now changed. So you'll see it doesn't reflect the line item down here anymore. It's basically added line number 1 and line number 2 together. And as we keep going with more order lines, it will change accordingly to add all the order lines together. So we'll now order another item, again from the same supplier that we want to order. However, this next item will be GST free. For some items, and I'm only using this in this example, that in particular for tea, coffee and sugar are GST free. We'll now, for example, show you how to enter a GST free line. To do so, again, we're on line number 3 because we've added a new line. Tax type is exclusive. However, this time, because we know this item is GST free, we now need to change the code to free. Again, we'll assume this is for ADE, same location. However, assuming we're buying tea, coffee and sugar from this supplier, so we'll do a purchase of sugar from this supplier. Staff amenities is the code that we use for tea, coffee, sugar, which is 6775. Again, we'll say we're ordering 3 units of sugar and they're $2 each. Also, just make sure that it is GST free in that item. So if it does happen to flick back to GST 10, that it is free, and that is 0 in that box, that's when you know that you haven't added the GST in error. The line item is 6, and you'll see the tax is still only the $11 for the $1 from the first line item and the $10 from the second line item that we entered. The third line item doesn't have any GST, so it shouldn't be adding any 60 cents in there. Again, the narration has changed, so then we again change it. And we can click next order line. So you can enter as many order lines if you want to order many products from this one supplier. Again, this is per supplier, so only do each order for what you want to buy from that supplier. The next tab that we need to do, we're assuming that we've done all the purchasing that we require, so we've entered all the line items. We will now go to delivery details. Again, the delivery details will default to the branch that has been set up. However, if you want the delivery to go to somewhere else, for example, for ADE contracts, they may go to in particular sites, for example, the Waypol site or a Telstra site or another site that we're currently doing a contract for. However, in most instances, it will just be delivered to the relevant Interlife office. You'll also need to enter dispatch notes if you need to, so it may be a matter of please call Joe on arrival. To take delivery. And give them a mobile number as applicable. These requested and shipped dates, don't worry about, we do not use them for interlive purposes at all. So once you know you're happy with the order, your total of the order is $127. There's GST of $11, so the net amount is $116. You can go back and check each area and amend each line if possible. By amending each line, you just literally just click on the line that you wish to amend and amend either up the top, or you literally can type in and change the quantity down the bottom as well if you need it, or the price. Once you've done that, click Save. There's another little circle called Reload. Click that. It will then just bring up the order that you have just done, and you'll see it's created an order number for you. The status is still in draft because you have not done anything with it. You will still now need to submit it for approval. To submit for approval, you can go to status. You'll see the current status is in draft. Click on the magnifying glass and submit for approval. Then click Save. And then you can reload. And then you will then see a little egg timer there. That will tell you that an email has been sent and it is now awaiting approval. By clicking on the little egg timer, it will tell you who it's gone to. For a list of what these acronyms stand for, please refer to finance for these items. Once it is approved, you'll get an email notifying you that it has been approved, and the status, once you go back in and enter this number, you'll see the status has changed to entered. To go back in and just enter the number when you go back in, is just type in, bring up again, data entry, purchase order entry, type in the number that you want, and then you'll see the current status of it as well when you come back in to view where it is. You'll also see it still on your screen, that it will be awaiting approval. So it'll be sitting up the top that it has not yet been approved. Once it is approved, it will also drop down there automatically. So you can also double click on here on your screen to see what you've ordered if you want to come back to it at any point in time. You can still amend this purchase order if you like. If you want to add another item in there, you can do so, but once you click Save, it will go through the approval process again. The next video will show you how to receipt a purchase order after it has been approved and after it has been received as well. Thanks.